Kerala is unique in its beauty, blended as it were from nature's bounty and man's endeavor. This land of majestic mountains, golden beaches, and palm-lined backwaters was to become a center of intense activity and revolution. These shores were the first target of the trade colonization of the Europeans. Kerala then comprised of the two princely states of Travancore and Cochin and the district of Malabar, ruled by the British under the Madras Presidency. After the collapse of the earlier armed resistance by Parasi Raja and Veluthambi to the colonial power, Kerala witnessed a powerful social reform movement, which widened into the mainstream of the political struggle for freedom. It was Chattambi Swamigal who first sowed the seeds of social revolution by propagating the meaninglessness of the hereditary caste system. Later, Sri Narayana Guru, along with Dr. Palpa and Kumaran Ashan, caused an awakening in the Irava community. Their philosophy of one caste, one religion, and one God for man brought about a feeling of oneness amongst human beings. Ayyankali organized the Pulayars, the agriculturists of Kerala, and instilled in them the need to be alert socially, politically, and intellectually. His repeated meetings with the government on social rights forced the government to nominate him a member of the Sri Moolam Praja Sabha. Gandhiji referred to him as the Raja of Pulayars. The cumulative result of the social reform movements was the awakening of the masses. By the second decade of the 20th century, there was scarcely a caste or a religious community which did not have its own separate organization, like SNDP, NSS, Muslim League, Catholic Congress, etc. Though the negative impact of these organizations in the development of communal politics cannot be overlooked, at the time they were formed, they served to arouse the masses of respective communities against the iniquities of the existing social order, and ultimately brought them into the fold of the anti-imperialist movement. Thus, the social revolution in Kerala moved hand in hand with the political struggle for national freedom and democracy. Sri G.P. Pillai, a close associate of Gandhiji, is considered as the father of political agitation in Travancore. His movement demanded an equal share in government, and his famous Travancore Memorial, a mass petition, brought the struggle in Kerala into the national mainstream. He also fought for the social and civil rights of the Irava community, taking their case to the British Parliament. Another great son of Kerala, Sri C. Shankaran Nair, presided over the historic Amaravati session of the Indian National Congress in 1897. In 1904, a conference was held in Calicut, which led to a district Congress committee being formed in Malabar in 1908. The annual meetings were held regularly and with great enthusiasm under the name of the Malabar District Political Congress. The emerging press in Kerala substantially contributed to the awakening of the political consciousness. Newspapers like Malayalam Manorama, Kerala Kaumudi, Mathrubhumi, Swadesh Abhimani, Malayali rendered yeoman service for the national cause. One event of the pre-1914 period which stirred the feelings of the people was the deportation of Sri K. Ramakrishna Pillai, the fearless editor of Swadesh Abhimani, for the expose of intrigue and corruption in palace politics. His death in exile at Kannano left a lasting impression on the youth. The patriotic poems of Kumaran Ashan, Ulures Parameshwara Iyer, Vallathol Narayana Menon, the marching songs of Bodheshwaran, and the contribution of nationalist writers like Keshav Dev, Ponkundam Varki, Tagari Shivashankara Pillai inspired the people. With the outbreak of the First World War and the spread of Home Rule ideas, political activity in Kerala received fresh impetus. Home Rule League leader Annie Besant visited Kerala, and the work of Congress leaders such as K.P. Keshava Menon, A.K. Pillai and Kelappan received enthusiastic encouragement. Sri George Joseph, a close associate of Motilal Nehru, was the editor of The Independent. He was a member of the Congress Working Committee and the All India Congress Committee. When Gandhiji was in jail, he was asked to edit Young India, the mouthpiece of Gandhiji. The movement soon got intensified as national debates were uniting the people to common objects. When the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms were initiated, the emergence of Gandhiji as the leader of the Indian National Congress, and the program of Satyagraha, as well as the support for the Khilafat movement in Kerala, had a tremendous impact. The Malabar District Political Conference became more radical and overwhelmingly voted for non-cooperation at their last meeting in Manjeri. After that, the Kerala Provincial Congress Committee was formed, integrating the Congress activities in all the 3 territorial divisions of Kerala. The first All Kerala Political Conference was held at Ottapalam in April 1921 and was attended by delegates from all 3 territories. That year, when the non-cooperation movement was in full flow, Gandhiji visited Kerala and drew many of the youth who dedicated their lives for the national cause. However, it is in 1921 that one of the most tragic episodes in Kerala's freedom struggle took place. The strong Khilafat movement among the Moplas of Malabar alarmed the British, who resorted to repression. The desecration of a mosque at Tirunangudi was the last straw. The Mopla rebels attacked police stations and looted treasuries and burnt records, ignoring the advice of senior Congress and Khilafat leaders who cautioned them to be peaceful. The rebels were crushed ruthlessly by the British. However, Kerala provided an object lesson that Satyagraha and not armed rebellion was the efficient instrument for bringing about social and political change. The legendary Satyagraha outside the temple at Vaikom in 1924 for the purpose of establishing the right-of-way for the lower castes along the main road to the temple. The moving spirit behind this Satyagraha was Sri T.K. Madhavan. Gandhiji blessed his efforts and later, in March 1925, visited Vaikom and held discussions. Enlightened leaders such as K.P. Menon, Kelappan, Mannat Padmanabhan, Changnasheri Parameshwaran Pillai, George Joseph and K.V. Kunyaraman participated in the struggle. The Satyagraha later compelled the authorities to open the paths around the temple to devotees of all castes and helped to bring the political and social movements in Kerala within the fold of Gandhian revolution. The Vaikom Satyagraha directly inspired the Guruvayur Satyagraha for temple entry. It was started in November 1931 by Kelappan under the auspices of the Kerala Provincial Congress Committee and young Congress volunteers like K.A. Damodara Menon, Kurur Namboodiripad, A.K. Gopalan, Mannat Padmanabhan, P. Krishna Pillai, Subramanyam Tirumumba, Kunyikrishnan, Manjeri Rama Iyer, and others enthusiastically participated in it. Kelappan also underwent a fast in front of the temple, which he broke only after repeated requests from Gandhiji. The tremendous wave of moral sympathy and strength generated by the Satyagrahas prompted the young Maharaja of Travancore, Balarama Varma, to issue the famous Temple Entry Proclamation on November the 12th, 1936, opening the doors of all temples to all castes. Gandhiji hailed this as the epic of Travancore. The 1930s witnessed an intensification of the struggle both on the political and socio-economic fronts. When Gandhiji started the civil disobedience movement with his famous Dandi March in 1930, it had an enthusiastic response from all parts of Kerala. Great leaders, including T.R. Krishna Iyer, Kerla, Muhammad Abdul Rahman, P. Krishna Pillai, Moidu Maulavi, K. Karnakaran, Vaikam Muhammad Bashir, and A.K. Gopalan, made the salt march from Calicut to Payyanur. Simultaneously, in several places, salt laws were broken, and hundreds of agitators courted arrest. Women also played their part. Margaret Pavamani, Kunyakavu Amma, Evi Kuttimalu Amma, Akkamma Cherian, and Annie Musgreen were prominent leaders. Kuttimalu Amma even courted arrest with her newborn baby when she was only 16 years old. While Kaumudi is claimed to have offered all her ornaments to Gandhiji to support the freedom movement. Meanwhile, in Travancore, a joint demand for equal share in the legislature was made by community leaders at the London Mission Society Hall in Trivandrum. This gave rise to the Nivartana or abstentionist movement, in which elections were boycotted to realize the objective of equal representation in the legislature. The abstentionists organized the Joint Political Congress, and later, in February 1938, the Joint Political Congress formed the Travancore State Congress, with Pattam Thanu Pillai as the first president. Under the leadership of Sri Pillai, C. Keshavan, and T. M. Varghese, the State Congress carried on a successful struggle to achieve responsible government. In Cochin in 1941, Neelakanta Iyer, V. R. Krishnan Erutachan, E. Gopalakrishna Menon, Chavara Parameshwaran, K. Karunakaran, C. Achyuta Menon, and Manekelathar formed the Praja Mandal. An important feature of the freedom movement in Kerala was the increasing involvement of peasants and workers. The trade union movement was intensified, with Matai Manyuran, Kunju Moideen, and George Chadayan Murray leading the workers in their fight against exploitation and oppression. The strike at this tile factory in Cochin was the first instance of an organized labor strike in Kerala. During 1940-42 in Malabar, the political movement turned violent. Many agriculturists organized themselves against the exploitation by the landlords and confronted the police unitedly. Peasant revolts broke out at Morara, Matanur, and Kayur. These revolts were ruthlessly suppressed, and many were convicted and sentenced to death. This was the first instance where the youth from the poorer sections came forward to participate in the national movement and gave their lives to the national cause. When the Quit India movement began, most Congress leaders were in prison. After Hitler's aggression on the Soviet Union, the Communist Party that had been formed in 1939 opposed the Quit India movement. The ban on the Communist Party was lifted, and imprisoned leaders were released, and this opportunity was utilized to strengthen the mass base of the party. Meanwhile, efforts to boost the national struggle for responsible government continued. When World War II ended, a series of strikes ultimately resulted in the outbreak at Punnapra, Vailar in 1946. The Diwan of Travancore, Sir C.P. Ramaswamy, ruthlessly suppressed the movement. The loss of human lives has never been reckoned, and the misfired revolt was the last great tragedy that Kerala suffered. The aftermath of this incident led to a general feeling among the people that his continuance in office would be undesirable. Things soon reached a political crisis when, following the British decision to leave India, the Diwan made the announcement that Travancore would remain an independent state upon the lapse of British paramountcy. His repression infuriated the people, and in retaliation, they made an unsuccessful attempt on his life on July 25, 1947. The Diwan saw the writing on the wall and made his exit from the state. And Travancore acceded to the Indian Union. When freedom dawned at the midnight hour of August 15, 1947, Kerala had reason to be happy and proud, now that the shackles of colonial oppression were shattered. A new light, a new life, beckoned mystically from the swaying palms silhouetted by the dawn of freedom.